Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Nearly Midnight Movie Chat. Tonight we're going to be talking about the hottest topic on the nerd spectrum. Did Kevin Smith lie to fans about who is really going to be starring in He-Man Revelation? That, Ray Fisher, Indiana Jones, and more coming up right after now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to Nearly Midnight Movie Chat, Hollywood After Dark. It is, of course, Friday, June 11th, 2021. Almost said September. That's 3 months away till that horrifyingly terrible anniversary. But a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of funny things to kind of discuss, I think, in regards to maybe breaking a couple narratives, having some conversations. Sorry for the few minutes delay. I was over on the vodka stream with the Film Junkie and Ty from Pop Culture Corner and Skylar Schuler from The Disc Insider, having a very fun conversation over there. So if you're looking for things to watch, when this is done, head over there, check me out about the 2-hour, 30-minute mark, and you guys are going to be getting some pretty terrible jokes. But then again, if you're here for Hollywood After Dark, you absolutely effing know what kind of crap I get into. Real quick here, I would like to say thank you very much to the channel members. We have got, there's a new one that came in last night. I totally spaced on adding them in. You'll be in tomorrow. I appreciate that. But if you guys want to help support the channel, the best way to do it is right there, link in the video description. And we're joined by my good friend, Animancer. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fucking well. You were fashionably late, as always, I know.
Fashionably late. Fuck you. Fashionably late. I'm not, it was 30 seconds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm early.
It was 3 minutes.
A lot can happen in 3 minutes.
Oh, I know we were going to go with that. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there.
Anyway, yeah. So no, today has been a very interesting day. I don't know if you followed anything that's gone on with movies today or just entertainment. It's been an insane announcement day. Like, Netflix finished up its Geeked Week, and there's a lot to unpack there. Like, I kind of feel like making a very dedicated live stream to just going through all of Geeked Week and talking about that, or maybe breaking it down for its own video. Because, today they announced that they're doing a Splinter Cell animated show, which I am super pumped for. And I'm hoping that it ends up having Michael Ironside voice Sam Fisher, which is what he did, I think, in Pandora Tomorrow for a couple of the games at least. And I love Michael Ironside. He is getting up there in years, but fuck it, let it work. Then they're doing like a, Captain Laserhawk Blood Dragon remix, which is being done by Adi Shankar, who did the Castlevania series for Netflix. And that's going to be like Ubisoft. It's kind of going to be like a multiverse of Ubisoft characters that are all going to be in this weird, 1992 cyberpunk dystopian world. That's going to feature
interesting idea. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of different animation styles, I think, mixed with a lot of different video games from back then. He kind of referred to it like the Captain N of Ubisoft titles. And that's going to be very fascinating to see what they do with that. And then they also announced a Castlevania spin-off today. There is so much that
I've been continually impressed by the longevity that Netflix has had. They are pretty good about investing in the right places and giving projects that, would never get any attention anywhere else in actual platform. I like that.
And the thing is, they've got the money, they've got the finances, they have the infrastructure to absolutely be able to do that. And they realize, oh yeah, there's also the announcement of the new Resident Evil show today. That is, I'll just bring this up, man. We'll just take a look here at the,
that's the thing too. Disney has even more fucking resources and money, but they're a lot more conservative when it comes with what they're willing to do with their properties.
No. I'm totally going to blow that out of the water, because Disney did announce today how much they will be spending on original content in 2022.
Oh, really? How much?
$30 billion.
Oh my God. That's
$30 billion is what they said Disney is going to be spending on original content in 2022. I have a feeling the majority of that is Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of that's probably Mandoverse shit, and
it's gotta be. Shows. That's more than Netflix. Or remember when Netflix was we spent $5 billion this year on original content, and it's $5 billion. Oh my God! And then it's $15 billion, and you don't even bat an eye. And then here comes Disney, and Disney's hold my beer.
flopping that dick around.
Oh my God, just absolutely cock slapping it on the table. Just like, look at this thing. It's fucking huge. Like I just can't believe how much money is going to be spent on this kind of content. I mean, so bringing up here, Discussing Film, which I do think is probably like one of the best websites to kind of like summarize a lot of what's going on, is, here's a new Space Jam poster. Who gives a shit? I mean, I say right here, pass.
Yeah.
Because it looks, I don't care about that at all.
Completely
Toby Jones,
unenthusiastic. Yeah.
it's all pretty bad. Yeah, Toby Jones has been cast in Indiana Jones 5. There's a couple screenshots I've seen, set photos of the two of them together, which should be interesting. They say, oh, look, Black Widow is going to be free to all Disney Plus subscribers on October 6th. Kind of a weird thing to say, literally weeks before the movie hits theaters. And also is going to be a premium thing. And here, I'm wondering if they're actively trying to sabotage their own premium service, where they're like, look, no, don't go see it in theaters, because they'll make more money if it goes to theaters. And they probably go, look, it's going to be available on Disney Plus in October. Go see it in theaters in July. Don't bother paying the $30 for the premium access. That's going to be for some people, but we're not going to worry about that so much. So let's just tell you when it's coming out. Because I feel like why would you tell them when they're going to get it for free if you're wanting them to pay $30?
I don't know, maybe to like peer pressure people into like watching it early, so that way, because we know how spoilers work on the internet. People are going to know the plot before that time anyway, so they might get that, that type of peer pressure to go out into theaters. I could see it being like that type of like reverse psychology shit, potentially, from like a marketing standpoint.
Yeah. But check this out, though. Apparently, Vin Diesel has also confirmed that the Fast and Furious saga will conclude after 2 more films.
I don't believe that.
I do believe that. I do.
You
believe
do?
that.
But
I
it's
absolutely
so big.
believe that. That's the thing. So it's going to be the core saga is going to end with the core cast of people. But they were originally saying, well, yeah, because back in 2017 when Fast 8 came out, they were saying that like when they brought back in Justin Lin, I think in 2018, they were like, look, it's going to be Fast 9, Fast 10, then we're out. And that was supposed to, like, Fast 10 was supposed to come out literally like this year to mark the 20th anniversary of the ending, of the beginning of the franchise, to kind of bookend it at 20 years. And then COVID happened and everything else happened. And I'm pretty sure Justin Lin, in the process of waiting on Fast and Furious for a year, was like, well, we could expand the story. We could really tie in the final 2 movies into like part 1, part 2 sort of thing. And he's saying here that the potential films could come out in 2023 and 2024, which is going to be at that point a back-to-back, Infinity War Endgame type situation, where maybe this movie, this Fast 9, is going to set up something larger. I don't know. People overseas have already seen it. I'm going to check it out next week, I think, when it drops here in the States. I want to go see it in IMAX because I've got that Jurassic World connection to it. So I mean, I don't know. I'm a huge Fast and Furious nut, as we've already discussed. And so I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with this. Plus, I don't think Vin Diesel here is ready to let go, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think Vin Diesel is
of his role.
I don't think he's ready to let go of it yet.
Okay.
Because he's not, unless he's going to do Riddick, he doesn't really have anything else to fall back on. What are they going to do? The Pacifier 2? It's been 16 years. By the way, real quick side note, the German title for the Pacifier is Der Babynator, which I think is a better title. So now you know a little bit of movie information there. Tamara Morrison here is talking about, I'm just discussing film is like they just do great recaps. Saying here that the Book of Boba Fett will explore Boba's past and where he's been since the Empire Strikes Back. Now is the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. But, I mean, okay, we know that after Return of the Jedi, he was kind of in a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, do you think they're going to show like explicitly how he got out of that situation?
Yeah,
I think that'll be a scene. Yeah,
I think we're going to learn about no disintegrations, which is going to be like legitimately cool. Because that was like one of the best parts of Empire is when Vader just looks at him and just goes, no disintegrations. Like you got to stop Boba. All right.
Like, wait, how do you expect them to allow like just the fact that
we're going to see? So if you look at like one of the guns that like Mando uses, he's got his rifle and it has that one shell and it just basically it disintegrates. It's going to be something very similar to that. I think it's going to be a weapon that just like eviscerates the body, and like he's a bounty hunter. So dead or alive, so he probably just like, screw it. You're going to be dead. He doesn't really have a code. He has a code in like the Mando season 2 but maybe that code doesn't really apply to this. I don't know. A lot of people were kind of upset about this. I think because they have like the Bounty Hunter Wars or whatever. There's a comic run that gives some of that background information, and they're afraid that the canon is going to be altered and changed. But then again, I mean, Disney doesn't really care about that. They don't. I mean, look, you've got Robert Rodriguez, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni all executive producing the Book of Boba fucking Fett, right? So if you've got these guys, especially Rodriguez, who is going to come into it with his very kind of special effects heavy, but still independent minded journey with the way he does all these things, you're going to see a lot of cool shit come out of this. And I think it's going to be a very interesting story, and it's going to give fans what they want, which is a history, as well as whatever is going to be happening on Tatooine with this scenario. Is Boba going to be an anti-hero? Is he going to take over for Jabba the Hutt and like take over the Hutt operation? Now that he's executed Bib Fortuna, we don't know what's going to happen, but it does drop later on this year. And I am so ready for that.
I do suspect that series will lead into Kenobi somehow. They'll plant the seeds for that.
I don't know how Kenobi's going to be dead by that time.
No, I know, but like they'll do something like, I don't know. It was done very fucking poorly, but when they introduced the fucking dice with Han, they'll do something like that, I feel like, but they'll do it right.
Well, and the thing is, the dice with Han was something that you could tell the screenwriters for Solo, which was Lawrence Kasdan and his son, that they were like, oh, they went back and they looked at the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, and the dice were there in the original Star Wars. So it's like, they were like, what do we have in here that we can use as a way to like, the Last Jedi did it first. Sorry. They probably like, what do we have that we can use? And then that carried over into Solo. So it was obviously a story group decision. Kind of ham-fisted, I think, in both films. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I feel like that could have been done better though. But
well, when I was watching The Last Jedi and we see Mark Hamill and he's inside of the cockpit and he looks at the dice, I'm all like, oh, that's going to play in Solo, because Solo was coming out in 6 months, and I'm like, that's going to be a thing in Solo, and then what do you know, it's a thing in Solo, and I don't mind that at all. I love Solo. It's such a better movie than The Last Jedi, but I don't want to dwell on that. Here's something pretty cool. Netflix and CD Projekt Red have announced that WitcherCon will take place on July 9th, but apparently no Witcher 4 is being announced. They've kind of said that no Witcher 4 is going to be there. So what the fuck are you going to do to WitcherCon? Right? That's kind of a weird thing.
I have absolutely no idea. It's not really like it's just celebrating one game series. It's kind of difficult to do that. I feel like even BlizzCon has difficulty sometimes coming up with like, and that's an entire company worth of putting out games and shit like that. So I don't know.
No, I don't know either what they plan on doing. All I know is I'm like, all right, well, WitcherCon is going to mean clearly. Okay, so today they showed us like a 15-second teaser for The Witcher Season 2. Tomorrow, they're going to be, which I would argue maybe like probably 5 a.m. Eastern. They're going to be, and that's my speculation, that they're going to be dropping The Witcher 2 Season 2 trailer. The full trailer does drop tomorrow. That is confirmed. And I'm wondering if they're, if it's going to be Witcher Season 2, obviously. There is the Witcher prequel animated movie that's coming. And I have a feeling they're going to announce a shitload of Witcher spinoffs, because The Witcher blew up on Netflix. Like, it blew up. And I think the popularity from that is one of the reasons why the Shadow and Bone series has also done very well on Netflix.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've heard me say this, but I have been saying that fantasy is going to be where the next trend goes. It's not that comic book shows are going to do badly or do poorly. They've got their built-in audience of people and people who want more. But I think for like the next big trend, it's going to end up being, is like, because remember, we moved through like the 80s, right? With like Stranger Things and a bunch of other shows that tried that. And then, you've got like, your certain things, but I really think like with Lord of the Rings and The Wheel of Time and The Witcher and Shadow and Bone and all the other fantasy stuff that's coming down the pipeline, people are going to be very interested in that. And I don't know what else they're going to recommend.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like even Kevin Feige knows that, because they're starting to lean more into the whole fucking magic side of Marvel. So
true.
I think that is something I've noticed in particular. But I also think that a lot of you're right. but they have a lot to thank from Marvel, because I feel like that's kind of eased people more into like suspension of disbelief when it comes to what you can actually successfully get people to believe when they're seeing like live action actors. It helps that CG's come a long way too, but I feel like, you know, standard live action films are one thing, then you move over to superhero shit. It's a little bit more digestible, and then a little less digestible by mainstream audiences overall, I'd say, is fantasy. But now audiences, I think, are ready for that. They're ready for that type of shit.
Well, I mean, there's that, and like with the Eternals, they're going to be meeting the Black Knight, whose character name I forget right now, and that's Kit Harington, you know, and he's going to be playing that character going forward. So that's a whole thing there, as well as Loki diving into the multiverse stuff. I don't know if you watched Loki yet. It's phenomenal.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing.
I mean, I was blown away by it. Yeah. I'm like trying to get my girlfriend to watch it. I'm like, oh, I think you'll like it. I got her into watching WandaVision, and she fucking fell in love with it. So, I mean, she's like asking me, is there more WandaVision? I'm like, no.
One thing I've noticed, any woman who exists loves Tom Hiddleston. Doesn't matter who it is. Like,
Taylor Swift apparently loved Tom Hiddleston for a while. So, you know, they were an item. That's kind of weird.
Wait, Taylor Swift was like an item with almost anyone.
That is true. That is very true. And then she got mad at Netflix show making a crack about that. She's like, it's sexist to make fun of me for that. No.
It has nothing to do with your gender.
Like Tay-Tay, no one cares. Like they're going to give you a hard time, but they're still going to pay a lot of money for your shit. So chill out, cut the check, sing the songs, shut your mouth. I'm kidding. But this one, this is one that's actually having a big impact in maybe a negative way, and this could actually be the next thing that the fandom menace and people like that dive into. So they announced that they're doing a live action Resident Evil series today, and that Lance Reddick is going to be playing Albert Wesker, and that has some people relatively ticked off because Wesker is a white dude, and you know, and the fact that if you look at this casting right here, with like Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, Sienna Agudong, Adeline Rudolph, and Paola Nunez, you don't really see a white guy in there. And a lot of people are like, I've seen some people kind of drumming up that controversy, and it's like, just let the show fucking come out. Like, just let the show fucking come out. We don't know if it's going to be good. We don't know if it's going to be bad. Lance Reddick is an awesome actor. Like, fuck it. Let him do his thing.
It'll be better than the movies. Those suck. You're not going to change my opinion on that either.
Well, I mean, and they are doing, what is the other thing they're doing? Like, they are doing a Resident Evil animated show, which I think drops here pretty soon.
That's way more fitting for Resident Evil.
And because they've done a bunch of the animated movies. And I don't think those get enough play, to be honest with you. I know everyone kind of focuses on the Milla Jovovich stuff. And I do enjoy those films for the most part. I mean, like, not number 5. Number 5 was god awful. Number 6 was okay. But I really liked number 4. But number 5 was just like, I watched it before seeing number 6, and I was so just like, this is not good.
Problem is, like, it's just starting to change, but a lot of Americans don't give a fuck about adult animation. They just don't.
No, they should. They really should. Here we've got Witcher season 2, a little sneak peek there, which I'm just not going to show. I got slammed last night by Netflix by showing the He-Man shit. Apparently, there's also a Far Cry anime series that's in the works, but it's not related to the Blood Dragon animation show, which was something that came out of Far Cry 3. So I don't know what this is going to be, and I'm really curious because I'm wondering if it's going to be more like Far Cry, because I don't know if you played the games, but the games kind of go through like a weird iterations. So in the original Far Cry, you would gain kind of primal abilities. And, you know, like, I think you could like jump high or run fast or be impervious to bullets or whatever. Like, you would get these abilities while you're on this island. And then Far Cry 2 did away with all that. And it was more of a straightforward, you're in an African country, you can contract malaria, your guns can jam. There's really no like direct fast travel. And it was, you know, more of like a straightforward shooter, right? Without any kind of psychedelic elements to it. Then they did Far Cry 3, which had an insanely cool villain boss who was, well, he got axed out pretty quick, but they started entering in a bit more of the psychedelic stuff. And then you get to 4, which is like insane. And then 5, which is again, kind of insane. And so I don't know, like, if number 6 is going to go back more. No, I've seen some gameplay footage for number 6. it's more of what number 5 and number 4 were. But I don't know if this show is going to play into that kind of craziness or if it's going to just be more straightforward. It could be either or at this point. I have no idea.
Because, I mean, we've seen how some adaptations can go, especially with something like The Punisher. A lot of the time, they need to really simplify something down to at least be a little bit more digestible to a mainstream audience.
Yeah, pretty damn much, actually. pretty damn much. And it's
maybe we'll get a little bit of that. Maybe we'll get some interesting visuals, but I think they'll have to ground it more than the games are, which are absolutely insane.
I'm hoping, I'm hoping it kind of goes balls to the wall, but it really depends on who the animation company is. And again, this is just an announcement.
It is animation too, so.
Yeah, I mean, you've got here the Castlevania spin-off with starring Richter Belmont. I haven't seen the 4 seasons of Castlevania yet, which I know. People are probably gonna be pretty mad at me for that one, but this is one that I think is going to be pretty good. People were losing their shit over this, so it's going to be interesting to see. Then you've got again this Captain Laserhawk thing here, a lot of craziness. Again, I mean, Ubisoft today was just dropping bombs with this Geek Week stuff, but this was great. Wayne Brady is going to be King Dice in the Cuphead show.
The Cuphead show. Like it looks. I saw this clip. It looked really cool because for one, it's Wayne Brady, and I love Wayne Brady, and it also really I love the aesthetic in the world and the design of Cuphead. I'll be honest though, I'm kind of skeptical because it was just supposed to be like an homage to that. It was like a set of characters in a world that was like made for a game world. It's difficult, especially when it's just like a simple platformer. Like it's one thing to turn like an RPG like The Witcher into a series or a film because it's a lot easier to translate, but something that's really just a bunch of interesting and very well put together and well animated encounters. But I don't know. There's not a huge story to Cuphead. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it also but having the weird worlds allows them to have the ability to dive into that. So I think it's going to be
that's true.
To kind of expand upon it. Yeah, I am hoping though if Ubisoft is going down the pipeline of trying to really kind of expand on their properties, like give me a Watch Dogs show or like an Assassin's Creed. Give me the Ezio Auditore trilogy. Give me those characters. Or Connor, or was it Jack Kenway from Black Flag, right? Like, do Assassin's Creed as an anime. I think you could get away with it better than that Michael Fassbender movie. And then, I'm just kind of diving through some more stuff here. It's just like Love Victor, Black Widow, a new clip. I mean, so there's been a lot of interesting announcements today, all things considered, coming in from Geek Week, which I thought was a very interesting approach to a full week of just a bunch of announcements of their more nerdy based content, which look, to give you the way I look at that whole thing is it really does play out well for Netflix because it shows you, like you said, that they know their audience and they know what the audience wants, and people are getting they get all these IPs and they're working with them and they've got the money and the budget and the resources to make it come true. And it's like, all right. And the cool thing is too, the movies, they'll start putting those movies now in theaters, as Army of the Dead proved, and the deal that they worked with Cinemark, because apparently it was successful enough for Cinemark to want to maintain that relationship with Netflix going forward about putting some of their movies in the theaters in order to get out to a different audience of people. And I just think
as long as they keep taking risks, they'll maintain that identity. The reason that people go to Netflix, because let me tell you what, if they try to mainstream themselves way too fucking much and streamline to only invest in the big budget things, they're just going to be another fucking Disney Plus or Paramount Plus. And they're not going to have their unique identity. And I feel like that would really fuck them over. So they need to keep taking these risks. It's important.
And I'm hoping that like Disney, with the amount of money that they're putting in, will do the same. Although I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case just yet because of how, they all are. Yeah. So I do want to get into the thing with Kevin Smith and stuff. But I saw there's some super chats that came in. Let me just kind of dive on these real quick here. Matt Jarbo's Puffalicious chocolate nipples, $5 says here. Jarbo Anna Jones.
What?
I think maybe Indiana Jones, Jarbo Anna Jones.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't
know.
Like that. Thank you for the money, man.
Though. Apparently I have puffy nipples. They don't feel puffy.
I didn't even pay attention to that part. I was not
that's I think that's Tom Hanks ball sack 69. He. That's what I think it is. Thank you.
Nice.
Also, Rodney here says, enjoyed hearing you on the vodka stream. Thank you. Some people in the chat really hated me on there. They're like, this Jarbo guy is like really arrogant. I'm all like, because I'm informed. Anyway.
Damn.
Oh, dropping that mic, motherfucker. No. But I appreciate the conversations with those guys too. H-Bart's here. $2 says, Matt, we got to talk about Zack Snyder.
We do?
I don't quite know what exactly we need to talk about Zack Snyder about, just because we talk about Zack Snyder a lot. Okay, so there is, hold on. We'll get to that here in a second. All right, let's see. Lars Slaker says, more anti-Space Jam nonsense from Jarbo. Shut up. I'm right. You know,
it's not even worthy of being called Space Jam.
It's not. H-Bart's here. Another $2 says, is Space Jam 2 about LeBron loving Xi Jinping? Yeah, sure. Why not, man? There's not going to be an anti-China comment on that entire thing. Not at all. Okay, but thank you very much. And then Simon here says, would love to see Keanu and Don Swayze in the two last Fast and Furious films as villains. Who is Don Swayze?
Don Swayze. I've heard that name before, and I don't remember who it is though.
Oh, Don Swayze is an American character actor noted for his dramatic roles in soap operas as well as several feature films. And his brother was Patrick Swayze. And,
okay.
And they look very similar, but his sister apparently is a woman named Bambi Swayze.
Bambi?
She looks, Bambi Swayze. There you have it, folks. The Swayze family with the names. But thank you very much for that one, Simon. I would like to see Keanu Reeves sure as a villain in those as well. And he might, you never know. Don Swayze though, that might be a bit of a stretch, but you never know. All right, let's see here. Cosmic here says, I think you're mistaken. Disney Plus will be spending 14 to 16 billion by 2024. I can't find the news on 30 billion. I read it on Twitter. I mean, I thought it came from a source that was like pretty intense or pretty accurate, but you know what? I could be wrong on that, but thanks for pecking it up. All right. Carlos Maldonado here, $5 says, would Disney have Starkiller come back to games or TV show? Fuck, dude. I don't know, man. Like, I would love to see Starkiller come back. Starkiller was the Sam Witwer's character in The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, which is the games where Vader basically decided to take on a Padawan, right? Or an apprentice without telling the Emperor, and wanted him to like take out the Emperor and whatever else. And the games are fun. But Sam Witwer went on to go and voice Darth Maul for the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels and the Solo movie. So
I'm kind of at the point where I think that that's very likely to happen. Like,
well, I mean, it all depends on it all depends on how much they want to tie it in. Because I do think I do think with the inclusion of Hayden Christensen as Vader in the Obi-Wan show,
that's huge.
And that's massive because, you know, they were really playing that up because, you know, and they are going to fight again. Like, basically they're teasing a rematch like crazy. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden Christensen comes back to play Vader in a show. And I'm a little bit concerned about that because I don't know if Vader can sustain his own show. And I say that not because I feel like the character isn't great. I love him. He's a great villain. But when you have a show like this, you have to have a character.
Have an arc.
That can, you know, you got to have a protagonist. You know,
yeah, but even more of an issue than that is like this character's already had his arc. We already know where it's going to go. We've already seen like the early part of it. We've already seen the later part of it. Like, here's what I think. I think that Vader will be in some of these shows, but he'll be like an overarching presence. Like, he'll show up in occasional episodes here and there, maybe for some finales and shit like that. But
I mean, like, because the thing is, what I would want more of what we got in Rogue One versus anything else, like just that kind of like like that, maybe like, okay, like to kind of tie it back into Resident Evil 3 with the Nemesis. Like the Nemesis will just randomly show up in that game if I recall, right? So it's like randomly, it's just like all of a sudden you turn the corner, there's Vader. Fuck, you know, run. Red lightsaber, shit goes crazy. Those kind of cameos, if done correctly, could be very impactful, but they could also then end up being predictable, which is what you don't want. Which is why the Luke Skywalker cameo at the end of Mando Season 2 was a big fucking deal. Because for one, they kept it under wraps. That's massive. And 2, it worked and people bought it. So that was really good. And then I think people would have bought it no matter what, considering The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. But I think it's more likely, just rounding it back around, I think it's more likely that Sam Witwer is going to come back and do the voice of Maul in a show. Because I've seen, so here's the reason why. Is Emilia Clarke played Kira in Solo. And at the end of Solo, we know that she met up, she was contacted by Darth Maul. And so her character is now being reintroduced in the comics. And if her character is being introduced in the comics, what that means essentially is that, and I saw a lot of the articles like, oh, what does it mean that Kira's coming back? Well, if they're bringing Kira back to the comics, that means they're trying to lead her back to the series. And if she's joining, she said, remember, she's also been signed on for Secret Wars. And so we don't know who she's playing, but she said, oh, I'm joining this because this is kind of where the cutting edge of stuff is right now. Also, they have paychecks and they probably pay up front. And so it's like she's joining that. So why not have her do Secret Wars? And then, hey, do you want to do a Kira show or be part of a spinoff for Star Wars on Disney Plus, bringing back Alden and Donald Glover and continuing that story, which fans have been clamoring for. And since Disney kind of feels at this point like they are in the market to give people what the fuck they want, if they are loud enough, I could see that being just a segue into kind of joining that Disney ecosystem. Yeah, in so many words, that's kind of my point. But anyway, I really appreciate that. Lord Slick here makes a great point saying, I love that Netflix is now focusing on video game content, dude, 100%.
It's awesome, yeah.
Let's see here. I just want to kind of get through. All right. Fourth here says, let's just call it Resident Evil Dark Fate. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know, Music Man, there's super chats. I'm getting to them as quickly as I can. I know Brian Hartwell here. Check your super chats.
This is a nice problem to have, huh? Too many super chats?
Well, considering HBart's here with another $50 super chat. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And it's literally just, he already said the same things in other super chats. Look, here's the thing, man. Like, is there a picture of LeBron James with Xi Jinping?
Oh, bother.
Yeah. Is there a picture of the two of them together? Although there is, there is this. I'll bring this up on the page. This is something I just found when I Googled them. Where's that? I mean, yeah, dude, Xi Jinping is like fucking, oh, I know, Winnie the Pooh looking motherfucker, dude. So this is something that is graffitied somewhere.
Yeah, this reminds me of fucking Kevin Feige and Mussolini for some reason.
A little bit, yeah. It kind of does. I don't think the two of them have met. But a lot of people are not happy with LeBron and his comments on that. But I mean, look, I get it from a business perspective. I'm not talking about human rights here, by the way. I'm talking about just business, which oftentimes, as we've learned in a capitalist society, forgoes any actual caring about,
anything at all,
anything that's not profit. Human rights violations. What was my bottom line on the stock investment portfolio? Oh, great. So, I mean, but this is some, in my mind, some biting ass criticism right there. And I don't know where it's coming from, but that does give you an idea about what, and I think there's going to be a big pushback from people when the movie drops that are not diehard basketball fans, that are going to come out and they're going to start really heavily criticizing this movie when it drops. You're going to see a fair amount of that coming in from the from like, I don't know, some websites. I'm not going to say who, because I don't know, but I think that's going to be a thing. But thank you very much for that, HBarts. Oh my God. And then hold on, let me just. There's more. I'm trying to get through. Thank you. Okay, it was Edward Kenway, not Jack. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you. I got that wrong, but still, Assassin's Creed is the best. All right. Rational Skeptic here says opinion on a live action Resident Evil film called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City comes out this November. Oh, that's right. They are doing that. Yeah, Sony is putting out the live action Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, that is coming out this fall. And there hasn't been a trailer yet, but okay.
Nice.
And then they're doing a Resident Evil animated show on Netflix and another Resident Evil live action show on Netflix. What the fuck is Capcom doing? Is like everyone can anyone get a license to a Resident Evil right now? Can I petition Capcom for a license to Resident Evil?
I can't take what you're saying seriously with this picture of Xi Jinping.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me get off the screen there. There you go.
I'm sorry. I just
Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. But I mean, but that is essentially a lot of, that is a very good point. It's like there is this other movie.
True. That's very
So that's going to be, good point. I want to see some more about that one. All right. So H Barts here says, I brought up Zach because every day since last year, I've heard something about Zach. Well, I mean, technically, Zach, they did announce that Zack Snyder is doing, it's a, what's it called? Norse of the Gods or whatever. It's hold on, I'll bring it up because I mean, he's Zack Snyder Norse.
A Schneider a day keeps the doctor away.
Yep. All right. So, it's called Twilight of the Gods, is what it is, and it's an animated show about the Norwegian Norse gods. I mean, that looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie here. I'll bring this up. I didn't talk about this the other day. I probably should have.
Twilight of the Gods. Maybe that'll play into Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Meet the cast of Zack Snyder's upcoming Norse mythology-inspired series, Twilight of the Gods, featuring John Noble as Odin, which is great casting. You've got Corey Stoll as Hrafn. I can't pronounce that. Jamie Chung as Hel. Lauren Cohen as Inge. Peter Stormare as Ulfr, and I love Peter Stormare.
Wait.
And then Christopher Hivju, who was he was like one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. And also the sub villain of Fast and Furious 8, by the way. And so so this show is we don't really know much about it. It's just you've got
who's gonna play Thor?
Thor isn't mentioned in this. They might be holding off on that, right?
Like, oh wait, no, it is mentioned in the side. See right there. So,
Pilu Beck. Is he in this thing here? Did I just miss? Did I miss it?
So wow. I mean, that's kind of weird. Like, there's going to be another person playing Thor. You know what I mean?
Well, but it's not Marvel.
No, I know it's not Marvel. That's cool. I know it's still kind of funny though. Like,
okay. He was Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones.
Oh.
And I liked. He was a piece of shit in that show, and I fucking loved him for it. Thor. So I liked Euron Greyjoy had I just wanted the craziest deaths in that show. So cool. There's Game of Thrones actors. There is Walking Dead actors. You've got John Noble is fantastic. Corey Stoll I really like. So I don't know what this is, but it is going to be executive produced and show run and directed by Jay Oliva, who's also doing the Army of the Dead Lost Vengeance series for Netflix as well. So that's going to be pretty fascinating when that finally comes on out. So there is quite a bit about Zach on that front, but I think again, following the Snyder Cut, following Army of the Dead, we're going to be in a bit of a lull period with Zach as he finishes up these other projects and gets them ready to come out probably 2022 and beyond. So, I mean, we won't hear about Zach every day. You might though.
You might.
Okay. Oh, Jordan here says an upcoming live action Assassin's Creed series for Netflix was announced last year. God damn it. I did not know that.
Wow.
I don't know that. Okay. All right. So, talking about the 30 billion from Disney here. Alvi here says, Fargo and Variety confirmed it's 30 billion. I think he's meaning Forbes, not Fargo.
Fargo.
So there's that. All right. And then also H Barts with another $10. Thank you, sir. Says, imagine during the rematch, Obi-Wan and Vader, we get a remix of the Obi-Wan versus Anakin theme cut with flashbacks of the fight, Revenge of the Sith. I would love a remix of the theme. I don't think we need to see an intercut in. I think they need to go full balls to the wall, and they need to show us the fight. And with Deborah Chow directing, I'm very excited to see what happens with her directing.
Did they confirm that there's going to be a rematch? I forgot about. I thought that was just being speculated about.
Let's see here.
I don't think I want that to happen, if I'm being entirely honest with you. I don't know. I feel like that'd kind of be cheap, but it could be done well, I guess. Just kind of skeptical about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just want to find. Okay, hold on. Is this going to be?
I'm afraid of them devaluing the encounter they had in episode 4. You know what I mean? That's what I'm.
Well, yeah, I mean, because this takes place before episode 4, so that's
I
not going
know,
to
but
devalue.
like,
I get what you're trying to say. So hold on, I'll bring up the. I found the clip, and we'll bring it up real quick here. Okay, so because I loved this whole panel. Okay, hold on, pause. All right. Let me know if you can hear it.
yeah, I can hear it.
During our first year on Disney Plus, our animated series Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Wait. Hold on. I thought this is what it was.
During our first year on Disney Plus, our animated series Star Wars: The Clone Wars saw tremendous success with its epic 7th and final season. Building on the legacy of the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi.
There we go.
Building.
Okay. I kind of I guess they screwed up on the timestamp. But Andor does look fucking sick, though.
Yeah, it does.
I'm looking forward to that. This should be the Obi-Wan bit.
Last August at the D23 Expo in Anaheim, we announced the return of Ewan McGregor in the iconic role of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi for a special event series on Disney+. Obi-Wan Kenobi begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Revenge of the Sith, where he faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice, Anakin Skywalker turned evil Sith Lord, Darth Vader. Our fans will be thrilled that Hayden Christensen will be returning in the role of Darth Vader. This will be the rematch of the century.
There we go.
The series is directed by Deborah Chow, coming off the great work she did with us as a director on season 1 of The Mandalorian. Production will begin in March of next year. Here's an early look at Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, so here's the thing with that is clearly doing a rematch makes the most amount of sense, right? Clearly doing a rematch makes the most amount of sense because the thing is, I love that fight scene in Revenge of the Sith. I just love Revenge of the Sith.
I mean, it's a nice spectacle, but is it? I don't know. I feel like you could devalue the story just at the sake of that spectacle.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's okay. So it's kind of like when there's that remaster of the fight scene in A New Hope that was on YouTube a couple of years ago,
which was
great.
It was
great. It was excellently choreographed. I do feel like some of the facial stuff on Obi-Wan was pretty not good.
Yeah.
But they, and I know, that's the whole thing though, is you're never going to be able to go back and fix what happened 40 years ago. You're never going to be able to go back and update it in a way. And so I understand your point, but it's I just don't see it being an issue. It's going to feel more like the prequels versus the OT, which is fine. But I mean, at the same time, maybe I'm enough of a shill, and I'll admit it. I'm enough of a fanboy shill that I don't care. I'm just down to see it. I'm excited for this because I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and I liked Hayden Christensen as Anakin. And I want to see him give a bit of a shot as Vader, see if he's able to pull it off, if his acting skills have increased in the last 20 fucking years. Well, yeah, almost 20 years since Attack of the Clones, at least.
I want to see some positivity being sent his way because, he really was not treated that well because of mostly George Lucas's fucking poor direction. So,
Lucas, I think, is a fair director. It was dialogue that was the problem. But when you get to Revenge of the Sith, I think is like the back half of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, I think are really well done. I like the dialogue in Attack of the Clones it's still pretty bad. Even though Carrie Fisher helped out with that, still wasn't very good.
I don't like episode 1 or 2. I only like episode 3. I really like
episode. If you approach it, I will say this though: if you go and you find Razor Fist's review of The Force Awakens, I'm not a Razor Fist fan anymore. But if you go and you find Razor Fist's review of The Force Awakens and you listen to how he describes George Lucas attempting a political story for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, at least for the prequel trilogy, I kind of put it in a different light for me, and I appreciate that review from him. I think he's an interesting critic. I just don't like his over the top nature, the wannabe Dennis Miller shit. Boring. but I think he has some points that are very well made in that. And so it allowed me to kind of go and look at it from his perspective, which I think gave me a greater appreciation for it. I still am not a fan of the Phantom Menace as a whole, because that movie it did not age well, but I will still rewatch it because it's Star Wars.
So what you're telling me is you're a corporate shill, man.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, by the way, it was Tormund in Game of Thrones. Thank you, Asha. Really appreciate that. I forget names sometimes. I apparently it's happened a lot tonight. People have been correcting me in the chat. All right. So hold on here. Okay. Let me just kind of, all right. HBart's here with another $10. Thank you, sir. Says they have to at least see each other again, as Obi last saw Anakin burning. So how would he know he is Vader without seeing each other again? Maybe Obi fails to redeem Vader. That could be part of it. Yeah. Maybe he could hear rumors that Lord Vader was Anakin, or, well, here's the thing. Come on. They're going to be able to sense each other.
Oh, right? No. I hope they don't do that shit.
Come on. Vader sensed Luke. Right? Vader sensed Luke at the end of Empire.
I think that was because they were family, right?
No, it's the Force. It's the Force. That's what it was. It was like Vader wasn't thinking about Luke being alive. So he wasn't and Luke wasn't really tapping into the Force. So he wasn't going to feel him. Remember, that's why Luke tapped out of the Force in The Last Jedi, cut himself off from it. So, but if Vader is an active Sith Lord who is using his Force powers while hunting down other Jedi, because this takes place 10 years later, and clearly the Sith Inquisitors are going to be a thing, and all that stuff is going to be a thing. If Obi-Wan uses his powers, uses the Force, Vader and other Force users will maybe be sensitive to that, and they could sense it, and they could then come for him. And if Vader feels that Obi-Wan is alive, then that could be the rematch. But then maybe he thinks he killed him, and maybe then that's what, I look to tie it into A New Hope. It's going to be very careful. They're going to have to do it with surgical precision. I'll admit that. And if they don't nail it with surgical precision, it's going to be a fucking problem. So, but look, they haven't let me down on the live action shit, which has only been 2 seasons.
Yeah. So be careful.
But if I would say that Filoni is okay. I know that they're not exec producing it, but I'm hoping. Hold on, I'm going to look here. If Filoni
wait, they're not involved in that show.
Hold on, I don't know. According to live action credits, he is not listed as Filoni is not listed as being involved in Obi-Wan. He is for Boba Fett, and he is for Ahsoka, and he is for the Rangers of the New Republic.
No, Filoni.
But I do not know.
Damn,
and that
no Filoni.
That is a bit of a problem. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Who is producing it? Maybe they'll tell me on the wiki. Maybe he is, but they haven't updated the wiki yet. Okay. So I don't know.
They better get Filoni's tail feather in there fast, because
yeah. Well, who's writing it? That's my question.
That's true. That's a big part of
well, okay, so Joby Harold wrote the Obi-Wan show, and he has done he did King Arthur Legend of the Sword by Guy Ritchie, which I haven't seen it. He also did Army of the Dead. He wrote Army of the Dead, and apparently he's working on the story of the Untitled Bumblebee spinoff. But he also was an executive producer on Edge of Tomorrow and John Wick Chapter 3. So, I mean, the guy's got some experience and
that's
stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's got some experience on this. Okay, cool. Executive producers are going to be Kathleen Kennedy, Michelle Rejwan, who is now the senior VP of live action. She came over from Bad Robot. Deborah Chow, Ewan McGregor, and Joby Harold are all going to be the executive producers. So no Jon Favreau and no Dave Filoni, and that is an issue.
That's a problem, man.
Not having them is that's good. If that's my worry. But at the same time, I would argue that their feelers are going to be in all this stuff, right?
Probably.
It's kind of like Kevin Feige stealth produced Venom. You know what I mean? He wasn't directly involved, but he helped out. I am sure that they have like gone to each other. But then again, look, John and Dave aren't doing Andor either. You know, they're not involved with Andor. They're doing the Mandoverse stuff, which is all the post Return of the Jedi, leading into the sequel trilogy. That's what they're handling. So there's going to be other people, but I know we want these guys to be involved. But then again, what is, you know, Filoni's position is now like the executive VP of creative, I think, right? Like
I'm just saying, like anything without those two, it's a little bit sus. It's more fucking sus than that goddamn chicken nugget we took a look at.
I get it. No, I get it, man. I understand that. You know, but right now he's so in mid 2020, Lucasfilm quietly promoted Filoni as executive producer and executive creative director for the studio. So if he's an EP for the studio and an executive creative director, that means he will have say. He will have input into this kind of content. He will be involved in this kind of content. So while he may not be a direct producer on the project, I don't think he's going to be far removed from it. And that gives me hope. But yeah, I would love it if they did other stuff. I just, if they were involved, even in name only, you know what I mean? Like just toss them a credit. Just toss them a credit and let them be in name only, and they'll go from there. But thank you very much for that, H-Barts. Really appreciate that. All right. Okay, hold on here. All right, Carlos here says, thank you, Carlos, by the way. Do you see another studio making the same mistake Warner Brothers did to Zack Snyder, hurting a franchise? Oh, absolutely. Because these studios are too afraid to do anything. Yep. These studios are too afraid to, like, we talked about this last night with the Velma show. It's just creatively bankrupt is all it is. You know, and even today with all the announcement of the video game adaptation content, that still kind of falls in the same well as being kind of creatively bankrupt because it's not new content, but it is different than a reimagining of a character in a show. You know, I mean, I don't know, like okay. Think of it like this. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy kind of did that with Solo by removing Phil Lord and Chris Miller and then bringing in Ron Howard, who she's been friends with for years, to kind of bring it over the finish line. They reshot 70% of the movie, and the controversy potentially hurt the film. You know, and the controversy surrounding Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think, hurt the film. Never mind Warner Brothers' own decisions into getting it over the finish line, and everything else. So yeah, I mean, studios are going to studio, and it's you got to look at who some of the power players are, and honestly, what their bottom line is. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm just waiting on that.
Yeah, I don't think the success of Into the Spider-Verse helped the image of Solo either. Because like people really have a high opinion on Cringe Lord and Phil Miller these days. So.
Cringe Lord?
I mean, you know what I'm trying to fucking say.
I mean,
people
okay.
like them. People like them.
Yeah, Chris Lord. I get like Cringe Lord. What the hell? What in the God? Anyway, all right here. Ryan here, $5. Thank you very much. It says, I'd like to see Christopher Lucas direct an animated project. I think that would be pretty interesting. Who is Christopher Lucas? I'm not too familiar with that. Christopher Lucas is what has he done? Like, I don't know. He's according to, I don't know. He's what he did Monday Night Mayhem, Crazy Mike, Blaming George Romero. I don't know. Red Scare, Yellow Scare. I don't know. Is he an actor that popped up in? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who he is. So I mean, if you can give me some insight into that, that'd be fantastic. Because like I don't know what I'm looking for here. But thank you very much for that, Ryan. And then also Simon here says, broken record here. Why don't you check out Shattered Glass for a good Hayden Christensen performance? I haven't seen Shattered Glass, but I did. I will fully admit I liked Jumper. So I thought he was okay in Jumper. Yes, I know, Castro. We will get to Kevin Smith here in a minute. I'm trying to be, accommodating to people who are generously blessing me with their cash. So thank you very much. And then H-Bart's here with another one saying, you think Ewan will sound and look like a bit like Alec by the end? Also, The Phantom Menace is a great film. I
think he already had the voice down for episode 3. Like
he was very much able to pick up on the mannerisms.
Yes, definitely.
But also a lot more people have discovered Star Wars with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan and like grown up with that, and that's a big factor that they grew up with him. a lot of the younger kids. So I think they're, I grew up with Alec Guinness, but a lot of younger people grew up with Obi-Wan or with Ewan McGregor. Like Annie here. So I think a lot of people, it's going to be kind of hit or miss, but I mean, I think he's not going to phone it in. I don't see Ewan phoning it in.
Oh, no way. He's going to take this seriously. He's going to give it his best.
Well, yeah, he cares. He legitimately cares about the character and the franchise.
Definitely.
And everything. And I think he also wants, because he made a comment last week in an interview about how he wasn't very happy with how people first felt about the prequel trilogy. And like, I'm pretty sure like some of like the negativity that came off of Attack of the Clones and even the Phantom Menace and maybe Revenge of the Sith maybe kind of soured their opinion on it. Because, it took a long time for some people to kind of come around to the prequel trilogy and embrace it.
That's why I want this show to be good so much, because I want these actors to get the respect they deserve and be able to give a better performance with these characters.
And I mean, I think, Hayden Christensen had to campaign George Lucas in order to be Darth Vader in the suit, and so he only had like a minute of fucking screen time. So he'll probably want to end up like, again, this is kind of redemption. I think this is a redemption for a lot of these people, at least, Ewan and Hayden. And as a result of that, I think that Kathy is going to take it seriously, and Deborah Chow, I have a full faith in, and I want to see what they do with it. So I think at this point, you know what? It's like they're filming it right now. It's going to last for several months, apparently. I have a feeling they're going to treat this like Falcon and Winter Soldier or Loki, not like Mando, where it's kind of like, vignettes, it feels like, at different lengths. I think they're going for a full 6-hour movie experience, and they're going to give us some stuff that's going to blow our fucking mind. That's my hope on it, at least. That's what I'm thinking. So, no, Shiny, we haven't gotten to Kevin Smith yet. I know. It's been a lot of other stuff here.
It's the Kevin Smith show.
Yeah. Let's see here. Zamir Patwa says the Phantom Menace wannabes think Loki is woke for having 2 strong black women. Yeah, that's lame. I like both those actresses in there.
Yep.
I thought
as soon as I saw that woman beat the fuck out of Loki, I was like, yep, there's going to be a video made about that.
Oh yeah. Some people were just like, oh, I saw that too. I'm like, you guys are just like,
but if it was a white chick, you wouldn't have heard that.
Yeah, I know. She whooped his ass, and they're like, oh, but how is that possible? Because she had a baton that knocked his ass down to 1/16
They explained
speed.
it.
Oh, I know. It doesn't matter. Remember, we're at a point now where facts and logic and reality doesn't apply to shit here. Okay, so let's talk about the thing that's on the thumbnail.
Okay.
And that is going to be the whole situation with Kevin Smith and everything else. Now, I'm pulling from a Cosmic Book News article because they've summarized it a fair amount, and I hate Cosmic Book News, but it's just what I could find because a lot of people are talking about this, and I don't feel that Kevin Smith lied, but I do think that he is being somewhat deceptive for the sake of trying to, put keep his show in a positive light. But we'll go through this and we'll talk about it. So it says here, apparently Kevin Smith has been caught as a big fraud when it comes to He-Man, and has been caught in a big fat lie, as a tweet unearthed from 2013 reveals that he is not a fan of He-Man, which this is a tweet from 2015 or 2013, apparently. Says, I wasn't a He-Man fan, but Gallery 1988 is running an awesome Masters of the Universe art show. Look up. I have the powerart.blogspot.com. So I want to see if that's still there.
I doubt it's still up.
I know.
Doubt it.
Blogspot. That
Blogspot.
feels like it's...
Yeah, I know, right?
No, it is actually up. It is actually
God.
up. Real quick here. We'll just kind of take a quick look at this. So Under the Influence, He-Man artwork available. This is something this guy... Well, that's pretty cool.
Under the Influence. Okay.
I mean, that's a good name for a podcast. Yeah. I mean, that's like this guy did, we don't know the context of this particular post from Kevin Smith, but he linked to this guy with posting artwork and toys and shit. I don't know what it necessarily was referring to, but a lot of people are trying. That's actually really cool. That's actually a really cool poster.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's some dope ass artwork, dude. the old Burt Reynolds. Oh my God. And then what is this, Billy and Mandy? Is this what it's supposed to be like Billy and Mandy Masters of the Universe here?
Looks like that. I think
kind of, yeah. Anyway, this is some pretty badass artwork actually. I really
Remember
enjoyed this
Photo
artwork.
Bucket? This all has the Photo Bucket thing, not plastic.
That's old school. Oh, that's pretty cool. But anyway. So I mean, obviously, we don't quite know what he means by this. That I wasn't a He-Man fan. I looked to see if he had said anything today about kind of what's going on, and he hasn't. But obviously, Cosmic Book here is going to try to paint it in like the worst possible light.
Wait, so like, has he also gone around and said he's a fan of He-Man?
Yes,
or something?
yeah.
Okay.
So because right here in EW's exclusive, because this is a decent summary, even though it has a spin. Smith is described as a He-Man superfan, saying everything I've ever worked on in like 27 years, this is easily in the top 5 of my favorite, most satisfying projects. He says when I die, they'll be like he made Clerks, remember, because that's the most memorable thing I think I've ever done. I think this has a running shot at being like he made Clerks and that one cartoon that one time. So, and he is a super fan, like but the thing is here though, the super fan aspect real quick. This is an added commentary.
This is not in quotes.
Yeah, by the Entertainment Weekly writer, right? What they're saying
news.
here.
This is fake fucking news, isn't it?
It's very disingenuous. It's a very disingenuous thing. Now this is what we're gonna know. We'll get to that here in a second because I think I kind of can figure out what's going on here, right? So. In addition, Kevin Smith's YouTube channel shows the actor, writer, director fills what appears to be tears of joy surrounding the series as a score is revealed, saying, like, I can't wait, by the power of Grayskull. Man, that's fantastic. Look, Kevin Smith's a hype man, and he gets hyped up and he cries. And I love the fact that you have a 50-year-old dude who will openly cry about nerd shit. Like, definitely. I love that. I've cried on nerd shit. And I'm fine with crying about nerd shit.
And here's another important thing: just because this dude didn't like the boring ass '80s He-Man cartoon, he's not passionate about his own.
He says that he did. Like, it was kind of like he came home and he watched it, 81 to 80. He said this even at Netflix Geek Week. I was just watching the video clip tonight. It's like 6 minutes long, so I didn't play it. But he did say that he came home from school. And he was like, he went to Catholic school, so he wore a uniform. And 81, 82, he would watch, He-Man, and he like, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And like that, that was kind of his mantra back then. He never collected, but he did say he never collected the toys because like his mom told him basically, no, you're 14, get a job sort of thing. And I'm wondering how much of that is what he's trying to lump it all into here. But anyway. So it goes on to say here that, so back in 2019 at the PowerCon, when Masters of the Universe was announced, Smith also compared his love of Masters of the Universe to his love of DC and Marvel, saying, I'm a big genre fan. I'm obviously a big DC Marvel Universe fan, but the Masters of the universe as well, right alongside with it. But then he talks about the toys here. So they're trying to use this thing as like the toy thing. Like, you didn't collect toys, you're not a fan. That's, I mean, as a negative,
that's gatekeeping.
That's gatekeeping. It's like, I mean, I'm a big Mando fan, but I don't go out and spend like the $60 on like the Hot Toys or whatever they are, or their Black Series. Like, I want them, but I don't have the money.
I don't buy merchandise, honestly. If things I like, I don't buy merchandise of it generally. Like, I'll buy DVDs and shit, but I won't like buy figurines, not most of the time.
So the big issue here with Kevin Smith is that all things considered, he, like, people are afraid that the show is going to be more focused on Teela than it's going to be focused on Prince Adam / He-Man, right? Like that's the whole thing, and that's
the riveting character of He-Man.
Well, that's been going on though since the first announcement 2 years ago, when at PowerCon they showed this. There was a graphic on the screen that talked about how Teela was going to have to be kind of like putting the pieces back together. And so people were upset that like it could be potentially focusing on her more than on him. Now, there was a thing where I want to just kind of, I want to see, oh, God damn it. They don't have the other tweets there. So this is where it gets kind of weird. There's another YouTube channel called, Clownfish TV. And we already kind of mentioned, I mentioned them on the other stream I was on. But they got a scoop that apparently Teela was going to be the main focus, that He-Man was going to be kind of going to the wayside, and they called it out. And he responded. Kevin Smith responded by saying, "As showrunner, I really could have used these story suggestions before we locked the scripts. However, no, He-Man does no stepping aside, and Teela has no girlfriend in our show. The storyline is pretty dark and way metal. Before Revolution, we were calling it End of the Universe." No, I get you, 75 YBA. I get you, man. I'm trying. It's a lot to cover with this. And then he also says, "I've read every Masters official script for our shows, plus wrote a few and viewed 4 amazing animatics. While Teela is present as she's always been in the Masters of the Universe adventures, and she plays a big role, our series is literally all about He-Man." So in that context, right, if you think about it, it's literally all about He-Man. What would be the, it's very, it's kind of open to interpretation, but it is alluding to, that that it is all about He-Man. Right?
I don't know. I feel like this could go either way. I feel like it's gonna be very difficult to take these characters seriously, just because it's like trying to make a live action adaptation of Captain N the Game Master. It's like they're a little bit too,
yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. So it says here, so this is what the Netflix synopsis was, and this is what people are kind of focusing on. So the War for Eternia culminates in Masters of the Universe Revelation, an innovative and action-packed animated series that picks up where the iconic characters left off decades ago. After a cataclysmic battle between He-Man and Skeletor, Eternia is fractured and the Guardians of Grayskull are scattered. And after decades of secrets tore them apart, it's up to Teela to reunite the broken band of heroes and solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to restore Eternia and prevent the end of the universe. So, this is what they're kind of attacking. Because it says it's up to Teela to reunite the broken band of heroes and solve the mystery, that the show is going to be focusing on Teela and not He-Man. But when Kevin says here that the show, our series is literally all about He-Man, what is kind of the point he's getting to? If you just take that particular synopsis at face value, and that would be that it's literally about finding He-Man and restoring Grayskull and getting the Sword of Power back and stopping Skeletor. So it's still about He-Man. It just may not be featuring He-Man for the entire time, which is something that I do think, and I agree with like Ryan Kennel at RK Outpost. I did kind of check out his video on this today. I agree that if they just would have been more upfront about this in the wording, it would have gone like a much different direction. But at the same time, Kevin isn't necessarily lying. He's not lying by omission. He's just not telling you the entire story, which is what these people do, what these showrunners do. They don't tell you everything. So, but here's the thing. Here's the other thing to consider on this one, right? So even going back over to that Entertainment Weekly article that they talked about here. Okay. What does it say right here? The animated sequel will be split into 2 parts, with part 1 premiering on Netflix this July. Okay. So you go in and you look at this like this, right? Here's more of this information. Split into 2 parts, with the first 5 episodes of part 1 premiering on Netflix this July 23rd. So they're doing part 1 July 23rd. Part 2 will come later on in the year. So the synopsis is going to be for part 1, which is about Teela going out and trying to solve the mystery and bring everyone back together in part 1.
Why not just do 2 seasons?
Like, okay. So this is the thing. Remember how I talk about like Netflix and like the whole pump and dump content?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This is their answer to that, by the way. This is their answer to that, which is where, okay, so we know it takes time for these shows to come out, and we don't put everything on a year per, releasing 1 per year. So if they do 5-6 episodes here, dump those all at once, and then they do 5-6 episodes down the road, every 6 months you get new content.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not a fan of that myself. I still think week to week is better because I think it covers more time.
Yep.
It just covers more time. But that's effectively what they're arguing here, is like they're going to do 5 episodes in July, probably another 5 episodes in like November or December. And that's what they're going to do. And so part 1 is what the synopsis is showing us, right? That is what, like that's the thing. And so let me, hold on. Let me log in to, my media account on Netflix here. Cause I'm actually a member of the media.
Yeah, Netflix, you got to start going fucking week to week with this shit. I mean, just let's take two examples on Disney Plus. Do you think that Loki or WandaVision would have been nearly as fucking riveting if they were just all dropped at once? Like, no, the speculation is fun. I like that part of, these fucking Marvel shows. So
oh my God. Yeah. What the fuck? Come on. Nah, it's all like, wait, which email did I hold on? I gotta remember which
Netflix.
Yeah, I gotta remember my hold on. I gotta remember my Netflix login information. Oh, come on, you pieces of crap. Like, no, like I've been a member of it for a while. I don't know why it's not logging me in. Maybe it's under a different email account. It might be under a different email account. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, apparently when Ryan said Christopher Lucas, he meant Christopher Nolan.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that would make some sense. I'm like, Christopher Lucas is just like a character actor.
What was the question again?
Like if Nolan were to do
a Marvel film?
Let me go back and find it. I
think the message was retracted, so you might have an issue finding it.
No, I should be able to. No, he says here, I'd like to see Christopher Nolan direct an animated project. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. His creativity in an animated format, that's a I idea.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just, maybe they've sent me the thing here. Come on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely.
I have to have it forwarded through. God damn it. I know I've been a fucking, god damn it. I'm like, I know that I am a Netflix media person. But it's okay. I might have to dive into it later on. Maybe they'll give it to me here in a few minutes and I can reset my password and I can dive in. Cause I would like to be able to dive in. Cause there's a lot of stuff there I want to figure out. Anyway. So, okay. Where was I? Cause I got off track. All right, so basically the idea is this. They're going to be doing the 5 episodes at once. That's going to give us the first synopsis, and then the second one is going to have the second part, which is going to have a different synopsis. So it's possible that the first episode is going to be about like the what happens when Skeletor and He-Man fight. That breaks apart the world. Then it goes forward decades in time. They don't know where Prince Adam is, or they don't know where He-Man is. The Sword of Power is gone, and then Teela has to get the fucking band back together, and they do it. They bring back, because here's the thing, it's not like they're not going to bring back He-Man for just the final battle. It's going to be, they're going to find him, they're going to bring him back, and then they're going to go and they're going to take out Skeletor. Like it's going to be like, I think the first half is setting up the story, the back half is going to be kind of giving us a lot of epic ass action.
It's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Sure. I mean, like, sure, whatever. I don't know, man. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. What a lot of people are freaking out about is kind of ridiculous here. Ryan here, real quick, $5 says, I meant to say Nolan. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. I missed that one. Okay, HBart's here. Says, looking back now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was awful. Tried to be like the Russos, but failed. Falcon, Bucky, and Zemo and John Walker were good, but main villains were awful. Loki is much better. Well, it's a different kind of show. It's a different kind of cerebral show, I guess. But I see your point. I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier, but yes, it had a lot of problems. And the thing with that, though, H-Barts, is that Falcon and Winter Soldier was actually written. It was the first show that they shot. So that was the first one out the gate. There's going to be always issues with the first one out the gate. So, but it still was fun overall and had some good action set pieces. But yes, there were some issues there. Sir Philip of Weather, Hampshire says, if you're so annoyed by Velma, how come Resident Evil doesn't bother you? No, my issue with Velma had nothing to do with her. If you watched my content on it yesterday, I said everything about Velma had nothing to do with her race. I'm like, you're removing Scooby and Mystery Inc. in the Mystery Machine. What the fuck's the point?
It's just a girl on a mystery solving case. That's all it is.
Like that's my whole complaint with it. Like it had nothing to do with her being of East Asian descent. I don't care. I mean, I literally I'm just done giving as much of a shit about that anymore, because for one, it's out of my control. I don't need to be angry about it. And it's, what, like, fuck it. They're going to do it anyway. So it's like, whatever. That's all it is. Well, no, I'm using Comic Book News. You Do Suck, not because I feel like they're great. It's just because it had a summary of what I was looking for. And that's that.
Yeah, no, they suck.
Okay, Simon section here at $5 says, I love me some Kevin Smith, but I do recall him saying that he had no love for Masters of the Universe in an episode of Comic Book Men. I don't recall. Okay, hold on. Geek Primer says, why is it wrong for Tila, but this love for Gina Carano, Cara Dune, and The Mandalorian is played by... Wait, what?
I'm not putting one and two together by what.
Why is it wrong for Tila, but this love for Cara Dune?
Okay. So like, I think the point they're trying to make is that like people don't like strong, independent women unless they are like, you know, appealing to their ideologies on social media. I guess that's what they're trying to say.
I don't know, man.
That's what I'm interpreting from this comment.
I just don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I knew. Like I just don't know. Sorry, guys. Okay, hold on here. I'm just trying to.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Well, I'm trying to look into my passwords for like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This thing to see if I can get this thing to fucking work. Like, log me in, god damn it. So like, nope. I think they just reset my password. It's been a while since I logged in. God damn it. Anyway, fine. Fuck it. I'll have to look into it later on. I'm also gonna email them and request a review copy to check out because I do get some of that access.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I keep forgetting to do it, which is the biggest problem. That's my big problem with it. And then another thing I wanted to kind of touch upon today, because I guess, you know, looking at the whole thing. Well, okay, I'll finish the super chats here. All right, HWAD's here, $5 says, starting with season 4 history, did go broke Vikings into 2 parts. Oh, they did break Vikings into 2 parts for each season until its finale. Yeah, I mean, you know, what was it? Breaking Bad did the same thing. You know, they did the first half of season 5, and then they waited a whole year before dropping the second half of season 5. Bastards. So they do this occasionally. It's fine. It's fine. Like, you know, it kind of allowed them to break it up a little bit. And they want to stretch it out. And I mean, the older you get, the faster days go by, trust me. So it's not even like that's big of a deal with it. But I don't see it as being, again, I think Netflix should just do week to week and be done with it. But in this case, in the Tila situation, I think that's the first half of the season, and the back half is going to be all about that stuff. Okay, now we're caught up on all that shit. So here's something else I wanted to touch upon today, because let's go into something that is going to be more controversial. Ray Fisher dropped a tweet a little bit ago. Saying here, Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, and Jeff Johns and Warner believe that everything will blow over if they just ignore it hard enough. It won't. They played and lost a very dangerous game. I've been encouraged by every industry professional to stay the course, and I shall. Accountability over entertainment. And I just kind of feel at this point like I don't know what is going on with him. Not that I don't care. It's just like, what's the posturing for? You know? Have you followed any of that stuff? Have you seen anything with Ray Fisher?
I mean, yeah, I've kept up with what you've been saying about it, where you've been covering it, and I don't know. To me, it seems like for him, in his mind, it's probably just like the gloves are off now. He might have been holding back a little bit more because, you know, the whole Snyderverse thing was kind of up in the air for a while, but now that most people have accepted that's not going to fucking happen, he has no reason not to hold back. It's like there's absolutely no fucking future in it, in my opinion. So he might as well just come off and say what he wants to say.
No, I get that, and I'm just again, like I kind of ask myself, and a lot of critics of Ray Fisher ask this question as well: what is the end game, right? What is the end game? I mean,
some accountability, ideally, right?
But with who? At this point, literally with who? Who is the person that's gonna get the most accountability here? Because I mean, look, you have to go back to go back to 2017 when the reshoots happened. Warner Brothers was owned by Time Warner. Kevin Tsuchihara was in charge. Walter Hamada was not at all involved with the DCEU. Jeff Johns and John Berg were kind of co-running the show, and they're the ones who brought in Joss Whedon. Okay, Jeff Johns is he has left the company as a whole, but he's working with them on Stargirl and a few other things he's producing under his company, Mad Dog Entertainment. Okay, fine. That's a factor. John Berg has contacted Ray Fisher to apologize. Joss Whedon is no longer with the company. And okay, so your key 3 players, 2 of them are eliminated from the game, one of which has apologized. And the other one got called out by a number of former cast members who were saying, "Hey, this person's abusive, and this person is egomaniacal, and is a toxic motherfucker." Okay, cool. That's out there now, so that's going to taint Joss Whedon from coming back into the fray for a while, and that's going to be pretty embarrassing for him. And then what's the last person here? Is it just Walter Hamada? Because Hamada was protecting the company. I mean, I think at this point, I feel it's laser focused on Walter Hamada, and Hamada wasn't there in 2017. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what you want at this point. I don't know what you realistically are going to get. I think it's just, to me, it's just noise. It's just noise at this point. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, 75 YBA here says, is he going to drop more news? We already basically know.
We know what happened.
We know what happened. He's talked about it. He's done a lot of things. You Do Suck here says, he wants an apology from Warner Brothers and he can sue. Yeah, I might have to. Music Man here says, is it Walter, Joss, Jeff? Exactly who? Well, yeah, I mean, hold on.
We don't know exactly who made all these shots, right?
Yeah, so he's just saying here, Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, and Jeff Johns, the people who are still at the company, right? The people that are still at the company. You're not going to get Toby Emmerich to say shit. Walter Hamada is already off doing his own thing with DC, whether you like it or not. And Jeff Johns is involved at that one. And it's like they played and they lost a very dangerous game. I don't see that as being a thing anymore. The court of public opinion is obviously, it was more on Ray's side. Joss Whedon lost. Warner Brothers looked like a fool. But guess what? They're selling. They're selling to another company. They're merging into another company. And so again,
I would definitely say that is a loss, though. Like,
it is. Yeah, I mean, it is. But it's like that had nothing. We don't know if that had anything to do with the allegations from Rick Fisher. I think
I'm sure if anything, it was a small factor. But no, I don't think it had much to do with that myself.
No, hold on here. Nova Joe says, stop saying Hamada wasn't there. We know that. You said it already because he's trying to cover for Jeff Johns. I said it. He's but he's not. He wasn't there when the reshoots happened. And so it's like getting accountability out of Jeff Johns is that. I think that is kind of like what he really wants, but I don't think he's going to get it. He's just probably not going to get it unless he sues them in a civil suit, which is what he should be doing. And maybe he's prepping that right now. I have no idea.
Maybe.
But like this tweet is designed to keep the pressure on to keep the pressure on Warner Brothers. The Snyder Cut's already come out. They're shooting Shazam, Black Adam, and a third movie right now. The Flash is filming all right now. The Batman is in post-production, and they've got stuff coming down the pipeline. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Like there comes a time, and Music Man here asks the question, do I think Ray's being petty? I think at this point it is moving into that. I do. I think it's moving. I'm not saying don't keep up with the fight. I'm not saying I don't know what the fight is going to be. But how can you stay the course when it's already done? It comes across to me that it's like the same people that are out there every day, like hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag. It's like, it's done. They've told you it's done. What more do you want? What more do you think is going to happen? What more do you expect to happen? Like at some point you have to start really looking at this from just the most like logistical perspective, which is no matter how much I support Ray in wanting to get what he wants, at some point in time, you have to take a step back and go, where am I going with this? And what is my realistic expectation, right? Realistic expectation. And I just don't see it because it's just a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. Now hold on. H-Barts here says, most people who say accountability over entertainment don't mean it, as they will still watch future DCEU films. Yes, exactly. That has been a main criticism of mine for quite some time. When Ray Fisher came out and first talked about this, they never, the people who were like, yeah, go Ray Fisher. I stand with Ray Fisher. And I'm like, are you guys going to cancel your HBO Max subscription? Because that's how you hurt him right now during a pandemic. Do you know how many people canceled their HBO Max subscription, Annie? None.
I guarantee you it was almost none, especially since they wanted to all see Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Exactly. And how many of them have canceled it since then? I don't know. I'm sure a few have, but I'm sure others have also kept with it because the service is actually pretty decent. And there's stuff they want to see in the horizon. Oh, I want to watch Suicide Squad, even though it's not, and it's not, all of this shit. It's a lot of hypocrisy. And there are personal friends of mine that like I have had conversations with about this who have said, I bring up a good point, but have not gotten rid of their HBO Max subscription. Never mind all the times they've tweeted hashtag I stand with Ray Fisher. So it's like, I stand with the guy. I will admit, I'm not getting rid of my HBO Max. I mean, I might, because at this point, I'm kind of curious what Paramount Plus is up to because they've got like 1,000 new movies on there. But yeah, it's a lot of BS. Melissa Lord here, $5 says, by the way, thank you. Do you think it will be a bait and switch? That would be bad. This trailer looks so dope. Why ruin it? The artwork is fantastic. Just let He-Man win the about the He-Man thing. I don't think it's a bait and switch. I think it's I think again they're going to establish that like He-Man and Skeletor fought. He-Man in the explosion in the aftermath, he disappeared. Teela's trying to get the band back together. Something tore the Guardians of Grayskull apart. She's trying to get everyone back together. Find He-Man, fight Skeletor, go from there. That's what's going to be. That's my opinion what it's going to be. I think it's going to work. I'm okay with it. But thank you. Now, hold on here. Nova Joe says, maybe just staying the course to be brought back just to be a contrarian. Maybe he wants to be like back with them. I don't know. You Do Suck says Ray just wants to be invited to the Warner Brother Company picnic. I don't think so. I think he's working with ABC now, and I think he's happy over there at ABC. Let's see here. 75YBA here says, I had to quit a few channels because of Zack Snyder's overload. It's like German chocolate cake. One piece is enough.
Yeah.
I've tried to slow down on my covering. That's why I kept the Ray Fisher thing into the end. We're like an hour and a half into this conversation. I kept it towards the end just because I'm like, it's something I just saw today. I'm like, all right, we'll talk about it. Brian, I agree with it. It's like a catch-22. I do. I agree with you on that one. It's like a catch-22. Simon here says, do y'all think Ray Fisher will go from poking a bear to beating a dead horse? I think it's already a corpse. I just don't know if it's a bear or a horse yet. I just do. And I have my friends who will disagree with me, and I'm more than happy to have those conversations with them, but the reality of it is it's like, Hollywood is, it's a numbers game. It's a financial game. That's where the power is. And using social movements to push change. I mean, it only gets you so far, right? It really does. It only gets you so far because what happens is the people who are doing the bad shit, you know what they do, Annie? They just get smarter about not getting caught.
Yep.
And that's really what it boils down to. It's like a lot of it is just, the people who were called out, they rightfully so in many instances, but there were people that were called out like Aziz Ansari for like having a bad date, and it fucking just derailed his career for years, And so it's like, was that fair to him? No, it wasn't. Right. And it's like, was it what happened with Ray Fisher fair? No, it wasn't. And Ray doesn't care about, that's the thing is like, Ray is like, I know he says that he doesn't care if he works in Hollywood again. I know that. He says that, and I believe him because he's going to go back to theater, and theater is an entirely different world. But theater is going to be dead for a number of years, okay? Because of COVID. And like New York has got to bring it back. And that's really a lot of the problem. Is like until that comes back, and that's going to take a little bit of time to get back to it, there's not much movement on that front. So I don't know if he's going to get work, and I don't know what he has saved up and what he can live off of. And I'm not trying to like understand his financials or really want to know. But if he's covered, he's covered. But at the end of the day, this is a long game that he's playing up against, like, think about it like this. It's like a gambler going against the house. You might get a couple good hands, but at the end of the day, the house always wins. So you have to think smart. And you have to think about how to keep it going to where you can distract the house to still get a couple good hits in. And just going out on Twitter and saying like they played, they lost, and this is what's going on. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything at this point. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Benson here, $5. Thank you, sir. Says, I'm so bored with the sort of Snyderverse fanatics. I don't want a geriatric cast in another Justice League. Zach is clearly happy with Netflix. Yeah, dude, 100%.
Yep. Just let him fucking be happy. That's what it boils down to. Worry about Zack Snyder's happiness if you actually care about him rather than your own personal happiness. That's what.
Yeah, why go back to a company that is flat out like,
disrespected him time and time again?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it just makes, I like the Snyder fandom. I think a lot of them are great people. And I'm so happy the movie came out. I really love the film. I love Army of the Dead. I want to see what Zach's going to do with his career, but at the same time, it's like I'm just not going to. I'm just not wanting to entertain what I think is going to be, what I think is going to be just stupid shit. Like I'm just done kind of entertaining that nonsense. Anyway, thank you for that one. Melissa says thank you very much, Melissa. Hope that answered your question. I know it was kind of all over the place tonight. I don't have a format or structure for the show. I just kind of go live and see where the night takes us. Although I was thinking about that tonight too, Annie. I was like driving around doing deliveries. And I'm like, maybe what I should do is like really focus the first like half hour of the stream and talk about the news and then go into the commentary after, like the conversations after the fact. And I'm like, I'll do that tonight. And that just didn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to prep it. I'm like, yeah, it just does whatever it's going to do. H-Bart's here. Another $10. Thank you, sir. Says, I like that you're able to see the other side of the Ray Fisher thing as you're not close to the situation. Like, I felt bad that night you got ganged up on. I'm not, like, I have been in enough gangbangs on the internet to know a thing or two about, like, when people are reacting emotionally to something. Yes, I said it, Annie. So feel free to laugh. I know you wanted to laugh.
I like how you can't see my face, but you could still see the look of
I heard your voice. I could hear it.
Wait, you heard that?
I have good headphones on, Annie. I have good headphones. I can hear it. I could hear the disappointment and the groaning. Like when I did was I put that Fast and Furious with Blue from from fucking Jurassic World on there, and you text me and you're like, this thumbnail is a dad joke, which I don't quite get, but all right, fine. No, look, it is. I am a dad, so like, fuck you. But
you get a pass.
I get a pass, yeah. And so I do feel that this Ray thing is like, I always have to ask myself what people's motivations are. And when I went on to Enosh's stream and I said, it's like he's trying to poke the bear, and they reacted as guttural as they did, as emotional as they did, it did catch me by surprise. And then when it catches me by surprise like that, and they give me that much pushback, then I'm just going to go into the mode of like, well, now I'm just going to start really pushing your buttons because I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know why you guys think this way. I'm just simply posing a theory. You can take it or leave it. But the reaction on that front means that I struck a nerve, which means that my commentary was very close to home. So True. Like, let's discuss that. And it was just, it like, I love Enosh to death, but like his reaction, and we've gotten into it a couple times over some of this stuff involving Snyder and the Snyderverse and that kind of stuff, to where it's like, I know that there is an emotional attachment, and it's not that I don't have an emotional attachment. I'm also really, really, really good at being just really fucking indifferent when I need to be, like when I need to be indifferent, I can be indifferent. And then I look at things from cold logic, which makes me a bit of an asshole. And I acknowledge that, and I mean, I was talking with a friend of mine today and she was like, she's like, no, you're a nice guy. And I said, I can be an asshole. She's like, no, you're totally an asshole, but like deep down, you're really nice. So, it is what it is, but I want Ray to get what he wants, but I also want Ray to, like, for one, acknowledge what he wants, vocalize what he wants, and then direct people to the right course of action for that. Because if you have just a group of people that are tweeting wildly at Warner Brothers, it doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't accomplish anything right now. It did in the beginning because it was new, it was fresh, but it's been a fucking year. Right? He did this July of last year is when this whole thing started. People lose interest and they move on. Anyway, okay.
Well said.
Yeah, I know Boulder Talk Radio. I know. I do miss Boulder Talk. 75 here. I appreciate you being here, man. If you know what, just get back to work and do this for you. You say here, I love watching you mix it up with Enosh logic rules. Yeah. or fourth year says, or sometimes your progressive bias. What, dude? I'm like, I'm an asshole liberal. What can I say? God damn, I want healthcare for all. I want a livable, minimum wage. Oh my goodness, Annie, I'm a monster.
You are.
I'm a horrible person.
You truly
Bernie
are.
Sanders, 2024, baby, bring
Get
it.
the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, that Matt. I don't even want to hear that as a joke. I do not even want to hear that as a joke. Let that man rest. Let that man rest. God damn
I
it.
know. Anyway, Ryan here says, I think you're pretty fair. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. You guys know I like to have conversations, so it's all good. And then H. Bryce here says, I miss Enosh. Haven't seen him in a while since the Marvel talk. Enosh's wife, Tiffany, had surgery today and everything is fine. She's fine. So that's where he's been. So like, you know what? Thoughts and prayers to Tiffany. I mean, that legitimately just whatever you believe, send good vibes towards her because she's a very groovy lady and surgery is always a thing. So that's where he's been. He'll be back soon enough. 100%. Okay. And apparently here, H Bar says, I was checking your 4K for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It says here that it cleared customs 5 times, but I don't know what's going on. Because you know what it is? You know they're watching it, right? They know that, whoever it is stole my copy that you sent me graciously of Zack Snyder's Justice League in 4K, and he's watching it at home. That's what it is.
Yep.
Anyway, and then Benson's here, £5. Thank you. Says Zach's post about the start of the nightmare sent them crazy. Posting dictionary quotes to suggest the Snyderverse is returning. What does Ray want? I don't know. Like, I'm a little lost on this post here. Posting dictionary quotes to suggest the Snyderverse was returning.
The nightmare? What's that?
The nightmare sequence is like the.
No, I know that. But I'm just like, what's that have to do? I don't remember any of this shit ever happening with.
I think what it is it's I don't know, man. Like, if you could clarify that, Ben, that would be great. Just because I'm trying to like understand it. I just want context because I think it's going to be I don't know. I mean, as for what Ray wants, we don't know what Ray wants. Really. I mean, like the reality of it is like and it will never happen. If given the opportunity, I would love to dive in. I would love to sit down with Ray and I'd like to ask him the questions. I'd ask him hard questions, but they would be factual. They would be, not, I wouldn't attack him or nothing like that. I would just look at it from the best possible perspective that I could think of. And I would like to ask questions and ask follow-up questions because like what I see on Twitter is it's 280 characters. There's very little nuance in that. Okay. Hold on. I'm waiting for, all right, go. I saw Fast Furious 7 tonight. The Rock again showing he is the leading movie star in the world today. You saw Furious 7? Furious 7? I mean, that was 2015, dude. That's a 6-year-old movie. You're a little late to the party on that. So, for like the 5 minutes he was in that film. And then hold on here. Melissa Lord asks, opinion on Mando. I love Mando, but rip Mando. Why rip Mando?
What?
I don't know. Why rip Mando? I love Mando. Like I adore the Mandalorian. I have a weird connection with the Mandalorian. So I don't know what rip Mando is. But I love it. I can't wait for Book of Boba Fett. I know they're shooting season 3 of Mando towards the end of this year or early next year, which is just lame. But I think a lot of that has to do with Pedro Pascal doing the Last of Us series. So, okay. Oh, they're doing all the movies in order for free every Friday. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Mando is dead, but I missed Din Djarin and Kathleen Kennedy killed him. What?
Oh man.
I don't.
No.
I don't understand. Okay, I mean, like, did Doomcock tell you this? I just have to.
Yeah, what the fuck happened? Like,
I don't know. I'm curious, Melissa, if you could just give me some more context, and that'd be great. Anyway here. Okay. H Bart's here says, would Disney ever hire Ray or would they not want a scandal like Warner's is having with him? Here's the thing. I think the scandal is, it's going to impact, it's going to impact him. It's not going to, I don't think, I mean, I could be wrong, but like, in the wake of Me Too, there was like a darker side to that no one really talked about. In the wake of Me Too, what you had was a lot of people who weren't hiring women Women were not being hired
True. Yeah.
for a while because people were just afraid of like saying something wrong or doing something wrong that may or may not be, and like they didn't want that shit. And there was, I think, there was a justifiable level of fear following the fall of 2017. Not to say that I'm defending anyone who's done anything abhorrent, obviously not. But it's like, you know, the Aziz Ansari thing is a situation where it's like, you know, the website that reported on that, the website called babe.net, they're gone now. They're gone now, right? Like they're already out of business.
Babe.net?
Babe.net. They you know, like they crashed this dude's career and they're already out of business, you know? So it's like, you got to take these things with a grain of salt. Look at, again, I'll just say it. Look at the Andy Signore situation. All right. On a personal level, I don't like Andy, but did he do what he was accused of doing? No. And that is what people focus on when they attack him. And that is not right, because he didn't do that. So, you know, like you have to be very careful with how this stuff plays out because of that.
Yeah.
And so
here's the thing. If someone's a shithead, you shouldn't have to make stuff up about them. You should just be able to attack what's actually true about them. You know,
yeah.
right?
And a lot of the stuff is like behind closed doors, you know. And now I was reading, even the other day, celebrities. And I was going to actually, if we do another Stranger Days this week, which I want to see how you're doing on Sunday. But there was a something I saw this week about how celebrities are now having stacks of NDAs in their home. Yeah, in their home, that are like, they're having people sign when they come over, especially if it's like someone you're going to have sex with.
Wow.
You have like an NDA to keep that shit fucking private. And like, that is where, if that is true, and again, this is just something that I randomly came across, I got to dive in a bit more. But if that is true, what does that tell you? That tells you that there is a culture of fear, and it makes people think that they're going to be a criminal when they've maybe done nothing wrong. And it forces them to overreact and overcorrect. And therein lies a massive social trust problem. So it's like, yes, there are monsters out there who do terribly abhorrent things, and they need to be called out and drug into the spotlight. But not everyone is a fucking monster. And therein lies the problem. Anyway, that's kind of my point. Anyway, hold on. H Bars here says, why does someone like you not have the sub count of idiots like Jake Paul?
That's a long thing to dig into.
Look, there's been the flagging thing from a couple years ago was a big factor. Another reason is when it comes to the movie talk stuff, movie commentary here on YouTube is pretty oversaturated. It is in a number of ways. And I don't play the like, fuck Kathleen Kennedy, fuck Star Wars angle, that I was doing at the end of 2017, because I was really legitimately angry with The Last Jedi. But I love where Star Wars is at now, and I'm very happy with it now. And I also, I don't really tell people what they want to hear. At least I don't think I do. I like to have controversial opinions. I like to back my theories up with logical statements.
The sad truth is that YouTube doesn't support people that much who think with their own mind. You know what I mean? They just want people who ride the algorithm and say whatever's going to, like, you know, push them forward. Here's the sad truth. A lot of the biggest names on YouTube, I think people realize this, they're bad people. Usually they're bad people. It takes some level of scumbag to get that fucking huge. Usually. There's some good YouTubers that are huge.
Yeah, I know some good YouTubers, and I think, look, man, YouTube has a way of corrupting people. Let's be fair, okay? Like, because what it is, like, here's the cold hard reality of this, and then I do see some comments I want to get through here, but the thing is like, celebrities in Hollywood, there's an infrastructure, okay? There's an insulation system. You are largely removed from the general conversation. Celebrities who have social media generally don't run their own social media. They have assistants who do that. They'll post something, they'll give their phone to the assistant. The assistant will then post an update on Instagram or Twitter. And then the celebrity doesn't actually read the comments. And you're not always too sure if a celebrity is even responding to you when they're on social media. You never really know, because of how insulated that community is. You know, when I worked for the flower shop that for Hollywood, I dealt with assistants all the time, because celebrities aren't going to deal with the mundane of ordering flowers for like their grandmother on their birthday. An assistant's job is that. So the celebrity or the creative can focus on other things, and they live in a bubble. They very much live in a bubble. So you're just not going to get a lot of, it's very insulated. Whereas YouTubers or influencers online, they come out of nowhere. There's someone on their webcam in their room and they amass 100,000 people. Well, they've never had that kind of attention before, and they've probably never been making that kind of money before. So what does it do to you? It forces you to, do it every day. I'm a workaholic predominantly because of YouTube. I fucking think about it constantly, very detrimental to my health, but it's very much something. It's one of the reasons why I just like doing the live streams, because at that point it's like, I can focus on the live stream, and then like, that's where I put my energy, and that's fun. And it's not like, oh, I need to do 80 different videos today and all this shit. I can focus on one thing. And thankfully you guys have been very supportive. So I appreciate that. But a lot of other people, they get sucked into it. And then from there, they start, they need their dopamine hit from talking about things that are going to get people to go, yeah, you're great. Yeah, you're awesome. I love you so much. And so what do? They start following the trends, and then, oh, well, shitting on Star Wars gets me a lot of attention. I'm going to keep shitting on Star Wars. Well, when that starts to dry up, well, what else can I shit on? Oh, Star Trek or Indiana Jones or He-Man or whatever. It's just whatever that next phase is. And it lumps these people into this place where they start seeking out the negative, because YouTube's algorithm doesn't support the positive, as Annie just pointed out. And it really does find ways to just turn you into, it also, I would argue, it really kind of like accelerate. I don't want to say, or amplifies the word I want to use. If you already are a shitty person, it amplifies it, but it also has the ability to like make good people do dumb shit, and so it can be a problem. And that's my take on it. I'm okay with not having 12 million subs like Jake Paul. I don't want that many subs. I really don't. I'd like to have a fun little community of people. We talk about movies. We enjoy each other's company, and that's it. That's what I want. And that's what I'm building towards. So I mentioned this last night too. Anyway. So let's see. People like honesty, not lies. But Melissa, you just said up here that they were trying to clown Theory and what they did to him. But Pablo Hidalgo doesn't speak for Lucasfilm. And Pablo Hidalgo was making a joke that Theory took personally. All right. Kathleen Kennedy fired Gina Carano, not because she's a political ideologue, because she's politically stupid. And she was warned repeatedly to stop tweeting. And she refused to stop tweeting. And then she started moving over from election misinformation to COVID misinformation to vaccine misinformation. And then she posted the meme about being like a Jew in 1930s Germany. That was clearly a repost, but she either is politically inept enough to not understand the context of what she posted. And then also her ego took over a lot of that when there was criticism back to it. And she just kept poking the bear until eventually Disney said, we're not going to renew your contract. Everything that happened to Gina Carano was her own fault. And I'm not radical for saying that. I am making a bit of a joke with this particular shirt that Gina Carano did everything wrong, because she did. There are ways to express your political opinions, not during a heated election and during a pandemic where spreading verifiably false information. That shit will come back to bite you in the ass, because your parent company, the ones who sign your fucking paychecks, they don't want to deal with that shit. So, trying to say all that stuff about, no, like the Kathleen Kennedy stuff, dude, so much of that is blown up out of proportion. It just really is. So, like, how can you keep saying Mando was dead? How did they kill it? How did they kill it? Like, I'm waiting for this explanation for how they killed Mandalorian. I'm too tired to deal with Fendiminus talking points right now, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, Melissa, I would love it. Not tonight. I would love it if when I'll do an open call in tomorrow night. Why don't you call in? Okay. And we'll have a conversation about this, because I would like to hear your point of view without it just being through text and chat. And we'll talk about it. And because I legitimately want to hear what you're thinking, and I will be as nice as I possibly can. I just want to hear what you have to say about it, but I want to hear you say it. I think that's a fair request. So anyway, all right. On that note, I'm going to wrap this thing up because it's 1:30 here almost. I'm tired.
It's 4:20 for me.
It's 4:20. Well, it's good place to be.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, guys, I do appreciate everyone coming on. I appreciate everyone cruising on by. You know what? Like, you guys are helping out with channel members and the super chats 100%. Thank you guys so much for this one. If you guys want, check out the Loki episode 1 discussion I did with our Resident Justice. We're going to be doing that week to week. It's a great way to kind of keep it on the conversation. And we might do a live stream, which was requested of me as well. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you again. Be sure to check out underhaven.org for Andy Manser here.
Hell yeah.
And they do their show, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot more political, a lot of swearing. Jamie has a very sailorish mouth.
Oh, we say fuck all the time.
All the time. I say it too, but it's great. And surprisingly, I say it all the time on this show, and I still get approved for like monetization.
Me too, somehow. I think it's just like the 1 minute intros, right?
Yeah, I make a lot of cum jokes, and I still get monetization. All right. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you again. Have yourself a great night, and peace the hell out.